Very rarely on YouTube will you find a channel that revolutionizes or outright creates a genre of content. With more videos uploaded every minute than could possibly ever be watched, 99% of what goes up to this platform is hot slop. But every now and then, you get the game changer, a visionary that creates content so unique that it spawns into its own subsection of content. And one such instance of that happening is JCS Criminal Psychology. JCS was an extremely popular forensic psychology / true crime / social science channel that launched on the 1st of February 2017. In case you've never heard of JCS, the channel's bread and butter was that it played CCTV footage of police interrogations for fascinating cases. So for example, it would do deep dives into the techniques that detectives used, the attempted cover-ups from the assailants, and provide additional information that would work to tell the viewer just how law enforcement was able to back the criminal into a corner, use their own words against them, and get into a position whereby they have concrete proof or even a confession of what happened. Much of the time, this began with the criminal initially saying that they had nothing to do with the crime, before slowly but surely altering their story and having to concede more and more, before finally admitting that they were aware of their actions and what they meant. These videos were often considered a breath of fresh air for YouTube. Firstly, it allowed its audience to take a peek behind the curtain, letting them see into the interrogation room of someone who, more often than not, was accused of a grisly murder. That's fascinating in itself. But creating content that analysed interrogation techniques and extremely subtle social and verbal cues used by police in a digestible way was not only educational, but also highly entertaining. It had everything that a good video needs to succeed. Each video had a natural progression of the story, from denial to admission. It had conflict in spades, a hero, a villain, and you walk away having learned something. Whether it be a better understanding of the interrogation room, or whether it be the darkest, most depraved parts of the human mind. And so, these videos began gaining some serious traction. Within a relatively short amount of time, JCS Criminal Psychology began finding a foothold within the true crime community, with them reaching 1 million subscribers in September 2020, only 3.5 years after originally making the account. From there, the channel's growth would snowball, apparently reaching 2 million subscribers in March 2021. And shortly after this, JCS would upload a video that would go down in YouTube folklore. And that video was titled, What Pretending to be Crazy Looks Like. Within this video, JCS would study the interrogation of the then 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, the man responsible for the Parkland High School shooting back in 2018, which killed 17 people. Cruz would feign being able to see demons, telling detectives that he was told to commit the shooting by visions that in reality weren't there. Over the next 2 hours, while he tried to stick to his story, there were brief moments in which he'd let slip that he was trying to sell a ruse. This interrogation was crucial in getting him convicted, and for whatever reason, this upload was adored by the algorithm. And shortly after it came out, it was broadcast to the homes of nearly every active YouTube user, or at least it seemed that way. Today, What Pretending to be Crazy Looks Like has a total of more than 65 million views, over 20 million more than JCS's second most popular video. As a result of the success, more eyes than ever were on JCS's channel, with it hitting 3 million subscribers in June 2021, 4 million subscribers in mid-July 2021, and according to Wikitubia, 5 million subscribers a week later. The JCS channel was at an all-time high. Their success would soon lead to other channels beginning to make content similar to theirs, resulting in JCS Inspired Content. Thus, a new subgenre of true crime content was born. So with a true crime revolution on the way, and views and subscribers the highest they'd ever been, things looked more positive than ever for the channel. Unfortunately for JCS though, what goes up must come down, and the worst was right around the corner. Despite its insane growth, JCS would never reach 6 million subscribers, And only 3 years later, the name JCS Criminal Psychology is now considered somewhat of a name from the past. In January 2022, JCS came out with a Twitter post that read, "The videos are flagged for these reasons according to Team YouTube. Shout out to everyone for the support. We are truly humbled. An exit strategy from YouTube is now in the works, and we will keep you updated. P.S. Thanks for the love." Alongside it came an accompanying video titled "The End of JCS Criminal Psychology." It seemed as though because their content kept getting demonetized for breaches of YouTube's community guidelines for violence and sensitive events, Jim from JCS was going to stop production on new uploads. Many of their fans pointed out that there had been several other true crime channels that had made content similar to JCS's, but their content was never penalized. Double standards in YouTube's demonetizations often rile up audience members, and this was only worsened by the fact that reactions to JCS's videos by big-name streamers were oftentimes up and monetized, while JCS's videos were sometimes taken down, and if not, were demonetized. And that made absolutely no sense. It seemed like that was going to be the end of that. Over the next several months, JCS went radio silent for the most part, minus a few Twitter posts here and there about the situation and how it was going on behind the scenes. For example, in February, Jim thanked people for their support. In June, he said that he was dealing with personal issues, and in December 2022, almost a full year after the initial Twitter post, they would upload a since-deleted community post announcing an upload later that day. Within the post, they stated that they were trying to navigate things, but the situation was very uncertain. JCS would post a further 2 videos that are still up and monetized to this very day. And that takes us to March 2023, the final time that JCS would upload. Or at least the final time that the JCS in which we knew would upload. Because following yet another extremely lengthy hiatus, JCS recently came back with a video that all but sealed their downfall. I'm going to play the opening 20 seconds of one of JCS's old videos, and I want you to study it. Let's then compare it to the opening 20 seconds of his new video. And if you don't know already, I'll let you guess why people were upset.
When forensic health professionals evaluate stalking, 4 essential items are taken into consideration. The nature of the relationship between the stalker and the victim, the stalker's motivations, the psychological, psychopathological, and social realities of the stalker, and the psychological and social vulnerabilities of the victim. Behold, the sacred union that unites 2 souls into a lifelong journey. On the 2nd of December of 2017, Amelia and Joshua got married. They danced through the night to their favorite love songs, which consisted primarily of Ed Sheeran, then continued the celebration in their luxury hotel room that was overlooking the river.
If you haven't pieced this puzzle together by now, the new video that they uploaded was narrated by AI. The inflections were ever so slightly off. It didn't phrase sentences the right way. Especially for a subject as delicate as death and murder, it seems outright insensitive to have an AI voice narrate this. However, the worst was still yet to come. Because for whatever reason, about 3/4 of the way through this new video, the narrator randomly changed from a man to a woman.
The detectives re-enter Josh's room 14 minutes later at 5:52 p.m. The other narrator will now be taking you through the second phase of his interrogation.
Better?
Putting everything else aside, just imagine being Josh right now. One moment you're in dreamland and the next you're jolted back into interrogation room reality, being asked if the blanket is helping with the cold by the guy who's controlling the thermostat.
By the way, the fact that it was changed from a man to a woman isn't the problem here. The problem is, firstly, her AI is way worse than his was, and second of all, why did they have to change the narrator at all? One has to question just what was going on behind the scenes for such a strange decision to be made. People loved the original human narrator, Kazume. He's since come out to say that JCS had gotten his permission to use an AI clone of his voice and that he was going to be compensated for it, going on to say that he was still going to be the narrator in future videos. But if there was nothing wrong with his narrations, why change? Well, there's a theory that's been spreading around the internet right now. JCS seems to be done. Jim has vocalized his grievances with YouTube in the past. He came back, he stopped uploading. What many people theorize to have happened is that he sold his channel. With more than 5 million subscribers, he could likely cash out and sell it to someone for quite a high fee. However, if this is the case, whoever bought his channel likely didn't care for its integrity. And therefore, they've been found out to be a fraud who doesn't care about the quality of the channel's content within a single video. If voices can be AI generated, then audiences need to ask themselves, could the script be as well? Well, identifying whether the script was AI generated is much tougher. However, there were multiple instances throughout the video in which the narration read lines that have been scrutinized by the audience for not having been written by a human. For example, at one point, the AI narrator says, "The detective was applying an effective variation of pressure, and the suspect crumbled like a deck chair, well and truly folded like an overcooked noodle." While it's impossible to come out and categorically confirm that this is AI, if you've spoken to ChatGPT and then a human and asked them to write about a suspect crumbling, this sentence seems more like the kind of thing that ChatGPT would spout out. Worse yet, check out this line from roughly the 50-minute mark.
It's kind of like he's auditioning for the next Star Wars movie, and he's about to rehearse the most breathtaking fucking paragraph in the history of the franchise.
Again, this seems like AI. I don't think I've ever heard JCS swear in a video. And what about this line from 35 minutes?
We presume this falsehood was intended to evoke a sense of empathy from Josh towards his wife, perhaps with the hope that it would motivate him to protect her, and as a result start being honest. But all it seems to do is bolster his confidence in his new fantasy novel.
Fantasy novel? You mean fake story, right? If you've used it before, you'll probably know that AI sometimes gets a bit dramatic. I could easily see this being auto-generated. Maybe it's because this is coming out of the metaphorical mouth of an AI. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt, but I do genuinely believe that this was not only voiced, but also written by AI. The big question is, was this script just lazily generated by AI? If so, JCS can no longer be trusted. If it's true, there is no possible way that the channel can recover from here because people know that whoever is behind the scenes right now isn't going to put in the work. Something very similar recently happened with Ceric Artman, after it was revealed by Bloom that the scripts for this video were just AI made. But not before the channel would garner more than 11 million views. The channel, which is now deleting comments, AI generated its scripts to pump out content at an impossible rate for a solo creator. We need to be aware as audience members that as AI becomes better and better, lazy content creators that are looking to make a quick buck might just use it in order to cut costs on hiring narrators and scriptwriters, completely robbing content of its integrity and the human touch. Let this be my warning to you, dear viewer. Unless YouTube does something about this, it's not going to go away, and it's only going to get worse. And this is a talking point that a good friend of mine, Raymundo2112, recently brought up in his video called YouTube Has a Slot Problem Revised. I'm going to play you a clip from his video to show you what I'm talking about. For context, in this portion of the video, he's talking about a much larger inactive YouTube channel that ripped off his video concept, thumbnail and title, making a poorly put together AI clone of his original work.
They seemingly threw my script into ChatGPT, told it to rewrite it, and then add some AI software, edit and splice everything together. I was made aware of this when a buddy of mine sent me a link to this tweet by the internet anarchist, which shows that they also completely stole the thumbnail and just made it look way worse. Initially I was shocked by how blatant this was, but I decided to give it a chance, not knowing the actual contents of the video. And believe it or not, the video covers every single thing that I talked about, but it just has zero soul. It's like a top 10 list, but worse. And the editing is all stock footage, which I hate to see personally. When looking at the channel, you'll see it was their first time making anything of that style, with the rest of their videos being top 15 style videos of animals attacking each other in most cases. Through this wild animal footage, the channel amassed 722,000 subscribers. However, their last animal-related video was uploaded 6 months prior to the creation of this video, with the Disney knockoff being released in October. 2 days after they stole the Disney video, he stole another video, this one being from YouTuber Ryan Pictures. The original video is called When One False Accusation Ruins a YouTuber's Life. The slop copy is called How One False Accusation Destroyed a YouTuber's Life. Interesting. What's likely happening here is that the channel was likely sold to someone who paid a lot for a channel with close to 1 million subscribers, and is now stealing content in the hopes that he can profit. But luckily, these videos are flopping. I hope whoever runs this account now looks at those gray arrows and cries himself to sleep. Now, these videos suck, but they won't for long. I fear that we're inching closer and closer to a reality where AI-generated soulless slop will become harder and harder to suss out. And I really fear that channels like this will take good videos from small channels, rewrite them in ChatGPT, then shit out a garbage copy of someone else's hard work.
If this theory is correct, and it lines up very well with what Ray was saying, what currently seems to be happening is that large inactive channels are being sold to people that want to use AI to trick viewers into watching soulless, computer-generated content. I spoke to Ray about it, and this is what he had to say.
I think it poses a problem just inherently if YouTube channels are being made without even a person involved, strictly for profit. I feel like it's a very sort of dangerous thing for this platform. Now, what I think happened here is that I think that whoever owned the Fanatic channel initially sold it to somebody else, and this person decided, you know what, I'm watching these automation videos, what I'm going to do is scrape some popular videos, take some video essay style things, and start uploading them here and have an AI do all the work. I can't say anything definitively, but that appears to be the case. Now, if we actually run it back to the Fanatic, they've started uploading some animal videos again, right? And they use the same sort of white background with a character somewhere and then some text pointing at them, right? But if you click on one of these videos, every single video is just very, in a lot of cases, very poorly generated AI images and an AI voice reading out some story about what it's like to be the animal that they're talking about. Now, it seems like it's somewhat, unique to an extent. That would make sense, since they make animal videos. They've actually deleted the Disney and YouTuber controversy video since. But I very soon figured out that this is still content theft from a channel called Dinzo. Now, if you look at Dinzo, they have the exact same type of thumbnails, the exact same type of titles, but the difference is that Dinzo is very high effort. They are all little animated videos made by a real guy, and clearly there's effort and love put into these videos. My assumption is that a lot of these channels, using the Fanatic, I feel like the Fanatic's a really good example of kind of what a failing one looks like. What they'll probably do is continue to just hop on different trends and steal more and more videos. And that to me it's horrifying, but it's also fascinating, right?
So with AI channels on the rise, it caused some people to look into JCS's back catalogue to see if we had missed something. And what they found was that JCS might have used AI before. This Reddit thread shows people speculating that a video titled "Sarah literally thinks she's going home later" is voiced by an AI clone of Kazume. And if you listen closely, you might be able to see why they think that. Take a listen to this audio clip from 12 minutes into the video.
Sarah is detailing possible motives for retaliation. Routine procedure would be to keep her train of thought locked on this element, provide encouragement and understanding while inquiring further into the suspect's grievances with the victim. The only problem is that the lead interrogator really doesn't like Sarah, and abandons the task of pretending to, which makes this a significantly flawed, yet remarkably entertaining process to bear witness.
That really doesn't exactly sound human. It sounds like the kind of thing you get on Google Translate if you tell it to repeat a word.
The only problem is that the lead interrogator really doesn't like Sarah.
The only problem is that the lead interrogator really doesn't like Sarah.
Something seems fishy at JCS, and with this video being almost 2 years old, it's been like that for a while. The only person who's broken their silence about this is Kazume, who said that they wanted to get a video out after not uploading for a long time, so resorted to AI to do it fast. If this is true, it would be completely flawed logic on the part of JCS though. If you've not uploaded in almost 2 years, there's no rush to get something out. You should come back with a bang. A well-crafted video. Let's assume for a moment that this is true. The only reason I could think of that would explain why they would rush out a video right now would be to get December ad revenue. In case you don't know this, if a YouTuber uploads 2 videos, one in December and one in January, and they get the same amount of views, the one in December will probably make about 3 to 5 times as much money as the one in January because of CPM. The last quarter of the year is very lucrative on YouTube, especially early December. This is when advertisers put the most money into YouTube to try and get higher Christmas sales. But again, even if this is the case, JCS has still cut corners for the pursuit of money, and therefore can still not be trusted. So what's next for JCS? I'm not too sure. Kazume has made it clear that he doesn't have much insight into the workings of the channel. They just ask him to narrate it, and he does. It seems as though this AI experiment has failed, and he'll be back in future videos. But is this just because they've seen the backlash to it and have realized that AI narration is detested? Whoever is behind JCS needs to address this, because until they do, speculation will reign supreme. If we never hear a response from Jim himself, I have to assume that the channel has actually been sold off, and the new owners don't want viewers to know. But with a single video, in many people's eyes, the entire channel's credibility has been tarnished. And so completes the meteoric rise and sudden downfall of a game changer on the platform. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And definitely check out my video on creator downfalls if you enjoyed this. You won't be disappointed. Aside from that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.